Thanks.
p.m. Earth Hour is the largest grassroots movement to address nature loss and climate change. Ngayong araw na to, sasabak ang Aura PH kontra sa Bren Esports. Simulan natin sa Aura. Kilalanin natin ang ating kupunan. Aura PH! Ang lineup natin ngayon, nandiyan si Hades, Greed, Killwash, JP, and Benny Cutie. May sorpresa ba dito?
Sobrang dangerous pa rin tignan itong lineup na nakikita natin. And hindi lang pati yung front men nila, pati din yung nasa back end nila ay nakakatakot. Tabla yung naging score nila nung week 1, and I think kung kailangan ng kalaban nila yung points ngayon, mas kailangan din ng Aura Philippines.
With Arcadia and Dale really picking up the slack dito sa entire team for drafting out a championship winning. I mean, it's potential third win for Aura PH, a third championship for them. Who knows? Depende na lang kung ano yung tatapat ng Bren sa kanila.
Matindi ang kalaban ngayon ng Aura PH. Both of them, actually both teams, have previous championships. Pero ito ang ating recent world champs. Kakalabanin nila ang Bren Esports. Let's welcome Team Bren. Ang lineup ngayon para sa Bren Esports, nandiyan si Lusty, Rebo, Carl TZ, Few, and Flap TZ. Nomad, let's talk about this lineup.
World champions, previous seasons champions. This is a championship lineup, bar none. Ang ganda ng drafting style na binibigay ni Coach Ducky, as well as mechanical prowess na meron ng individual players na meron tayo dito.
Ito na yung game na dapat nanalo sila. Kasi I think fully aware sila na sa sarili nila na they're on vacation mode nung week 1 pa. And I think yun na yung wake-up call para sa team. And knowing the team themselves, nakikita mo yung apoy nila na, gusto ko pa rin maging champion ulit.
Etong dalawang koponan, both have championship experience. They're gonna go head-to-head today. And this head-to-head is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999 pesos. Aura PH kontra Bren Esports. Itong Aura, nandun sila sa, galing sila sa pagkapanalo 2-0 kontra Blacklist International. Ang Bren naman na dismaya sa kanilang pagkatalo kontra NXP. Now, ito ang ating may sense of urgency, etong dalawang ito. Sino nga ba sa kanila ang dapat bang manalo?
Actually, yes, I think nag-agree ako dito with a sense of urgency. Urgent win to. Para sa Bren, ganun din sa Aura. Kasi kapag natalo ang Aura dito, mayroon silang lose streak ng dalawa. Maganda yung naging umpisa nila, but their problem is natalo sila ng isa sa new team na ang team work. So, doon pa lang nakikita mo na may part na, teka, ano ba talaga yung strategy natin? Shaky ba itong ginagawa natin o mag-work?
Well, at the same time, Bren Esports, they have to prove themselves na yung losses nila hindi mag-stack up. Kasi if they lose this match, they'll be stuck at the bottom of the bracket considering the fact that Signal Ultra hasn't played just yet. So it's important for them to get the win, to get on top.
pareha silang galing sa pagkatalo. Tama nga, they'll be at the bottom of the standings. Now, let's compare the team right now.
Yeah, I think pwede natin makita natin dito is kung paano lalaroin ng dalawang teams yung macro. Parehas silang may malakas na side laners and parehas din silang may malapit na
It's not that they're really far apart. Their performance shows na halos parehas sila. They're both championship caliber teams. It's just so happened na hindi lang maganda yung mga laro na nilaro nila for the past couple of games.
Ito naman, who will be head and shoulders above the competition? Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward #HGG moment thanks to Head and Shoulders. 100% dandruff-free and itch-free. Now, mas pinabango pa. Meron tayong mga key team players dito. At nandiyan si Benny Cutie, Killwash, and Greed para sa Aura PH.
Gusto ko i-comment dito si Greed pa din pagdating sa first few games na nakita natin sa kanya. Yung kanyang Kagura talaga para sa akin yung sobrang outstanding na nagbigay ng space dito para kay Kiluwash and para kay Benny Cutie na ma-online din yung Bane ni Cutie.
Speaking of Bane and Cutie is one of the few players that have showed us that Bane is viable, and because of that, may micro adjustment na nila ba si Munto. Not sure if it's entirely on Bane and Cutie, but he did provide much of an impact on their entire games.
Napag-usapan natin ng Aura PH. Ngayon naman, punta tayo sa brand key players. Nandiyan si Carl TZ, Flap TZ, and Few.
Ang masasabi ko lang dito na nag-show up para sa week 1 ng Bren Esports ay si Flap TZ. This is casual Bren eh. Parang protect Carl TZ at all costs. Pero may times kasi na pag kailangan ng player na kailangan maging X-Factor, si Flap TZ yun.
Pero there is a time na I would say na si Carl TZ yung pinaka-mas impactful dito sa Bren Esports. Not just because of the KDA, but just because na whenever the team needs it, he will go ahead and execute anybody that's needed to win.
Meron tayong dalawang manlalaro that we're gonna ng isang manlalaro mula sa Aura at isa ding manlalaro mula sa Brent. Tingnan natin dito. Greed kontra kay Few. Si Greed, tingnan nyo, may better KDA than Few and more gold per minute. Pero si Few posted better kill participation.
Sobrang interesting nitong matchup na to. I'm glad na ito rin yung mga nabanggit natin kanina kasi dito din ako excited. May kanya-kanyang movements yung dalawang teams and dalawang players na to, and they both know how to protect their main core. Marami ako makikitang movements for sure kay Greed na magugulat si Few, pero may mga fundamental din si Few laban kay Greed.
Yung idol ng mga kids pa rin talaga si Mr. Few himself. Ang ganda ng mga plays na tinatry niya i-bring up para kay Carl TZ para mag-shine sila, pero at the end of the day, it wasn't just enough for them to win the games.
Ito ang ating lane prediction.
Okay, so yes, with this, I think ito pa rin yung dangerous para sa akin sa Aura. Hindi pa din natin talaga alam kung anong jungler, kung kaninong jungler, I mean sila magmi-main. For example, pwede sila mag-go to the Hades route, pwede naman sila all-in JP. So yun ata ang kailangan paghandaan ng Bren Esports dito, Nomad.
Yeah, and that's the threat really that Aura has. There is a lot of flexibility in their compositions. They can ban out specific heroes for Aura, but at the end of the day, with Arcadia and Dale, they can just switch it up at any...
Disinfect here. Hopefully you do as well, because as we continue to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, we encourage everyone to follow the government's health and safety protocols. This includes practicing social distancing, wearing of face masks and face shields, sanitizing, proper hand washing, and staying at home as much as possible. Let's all do our part to stay safe and help stop COVID-19. Back to my question, matchup for this one, the marquee player matchup for the panelists was Greed versus Few. But let's look into the XP lane, or the turtle lane, the matchup between Kilowash and Flap TZ. What do you want to say about that?
You know, interestingly, they kind of play the same but totally different. I know that's a weird sentence, right?
It makes sense.
But it makes sense. Now, what I want to tell you, what they are similar at, is that when they fulfill their own jobs, it just feels so easy for the rest of the squad to just be comfortable in the map, right? For example, when Flap TZ plays the aggressive XP laner, the XP laner that kind of participates in the team fights more, and kind of a reliever to their jungler, Bren Esports, they play so comfortably with that. But on the flip side, it's Aura. Now, looking at Kilowash, he's the XP laner that will kind of sit back a bit, will participate in team fights when needed, but most importantly, also farms, which is totally different but at the same time, it's also similar, right?
So on one side, you have someone who tends to rotate more, and then the other one who tends to stay in lane a little bit more. Now, the next question is, who will make the smarter choices in three with Diggy? Care to explain?
Oh, well, the thing is, Brand Esports. Oh, sorry, it was Aura Page. Let's start with Aura Page. What they did in their second
Your team
series
is
of
banning.
the MPL Season 6, wherein they showed the whole world the defeating Diggy strategy.
Yeah.
And everybody lost their mind. It just blew up, right? Everybody was just doing the Diggy strategy. Then Brand Esports, starting
Your
from that
team
day,
is banning.
automatically first banned the Diggy no matter which side they are on. If it's blue, if it's red, it doesn't matter. First ban the Diggy. And Brand Esports are known to also just straight up ban out the Diggy or use it themselves, but in a different way. Last series, in their first series, they tried to go for the Diggy strategy. It didn't work. And now for Aura PH, I think that this is a meta pick
Your
that
team
Brand Esports
is
might look
banning.
into. But seeing as this draft progresses, it's more targeted. This is a weird lineup, by the way, from Aura PH.
Yeah, they take out the Uranus and the Matilda. Meanwhile, Brand Esports taking away, of course, Isan Shin and Paquito.
Your
usual
team
bans that
is
we're
banning.
seeing. Why take out the Uranus? What's his position in the meta right now? Not just in the Philippines, but in the region. Because I see MPL Indonesia picking that a lot.
That's a very good question. I think that Uranus is not only an overpowered hero right now, it just opens up the draft. Because what really happens is when you first pick the Uranus, you have so many things that can really combo it up with. Banning out the Uranus, because if you give it to your opponents, it's really weird.
Yeah, and now, with a very interesting turn of events for our bans, although the staple names are there, Natalia and Selena were banned out here. Now it's a question for what are gonna be the first three picks for these two teams. Brand Esports can go multiple routes. You have the Sylvana open, Esmeralda, Benedetta, Jawhead. So many picks open here.
Yeah.
Who do you think they will most likely go for?
If I'm Brand Esports, I'm just gonna take that Jawhead. It's just so good in all meta,
Your
but of
team
course
is
Benedetta is one of the better picks, and they will also pick it up. It's like your second Uranus. I was talking about how comfortable you can be when you're drafting. This Benedetta is just so flexible because you can pick it in the side lanes. It can be a gold laner, it can be an EXP laner. It was a tank before. It was roaming before. It can be a support as well. And now, most famously, the jungler. I would want to say and emphasize on this, the ban of the Yisun Chin from Brand Esports, this might be a nod to Lord Hades now playing alongside JP.
Good thing that you brought that out there, because usually it's Hades and JP on the back of our heads, like who is gonna be jungling for Aura PH? But now with JP in the mix here, there's a big chance that JP might actually either go to the gold lane or the mid lane,
Your
and then
team
Hades
is
in the
picking.
jungle. So many possibilities.
Yes.
But now Esmeralda and Jawhead getting picked up, two of the names that we mentioned, and Ren Esports, would they want to lock in the Cho or the Sylvana at this point since it's open?
I think that they will be considering the Cho this time. I want to say the Baksha is a pick that Brand Esports really love because they played on Lusty as well as Flap TZ. And now for Aura PH, the Joyd picked up, although it's not as scary as before. You know, Rafflesia's Joyd is very scary, but this time Aura PH obviously not deploying Rafflesia, and I'm
Your
pretty sure
team
that
is
when they do play Lord Hades and JP together, they put JP on a support or a mid lane role, and then they put Reed on the tank. So it's a massive adjustment from Aura PH. They did this before, by the way, in the off season of the MPL. It worked for a little while, and then they started to just put in JP back in the jungler role. So this is a big mix-up. I'm not entirely sure if Aura PH wants to just to surprise Brand Esports, but this might be, how do I say this, too sudden of a change for them.
Yeah, and this was one of the strengths that Aura PH has that our panelists brought up, the fact that they can play around with their rotations. Hopefully they were able to prepare for bringing this out, because it might be a sudden change, as you said. Now, Aura PH with the last pick going into the second phase of our draft. Let's see what he picks up. That's the
Your
Kagura,
team
a
is
signature
banning.
here for Greed, one of his go-to heroes, and one of the reasons why he has one of the highest KDAs for a mid laner right now. But Brand Esports, going back to their picks of the Sylvana and the Alice, looking at it though, they can still flex this up, because we've seen Sylvana get picked up as a mid laner. Arvs of LPE did that, and
That's
then
right.
they still have the route of maybe going for another tank, not necessarily put that Sylvana as a tank.
You kind of want to give a little bit of combo to the Sylvana, and then Brand Esports chose to go for the Alice. I'm talking about combos that kind of lean towards the magic
Your team
route.
is
Because here's the
banning.
thing. The Sylvana, her skill set will allow a little bit of a magic defense reduction as well as some physical damage reduction. So you want to get burst, and obviously the Alice will provide that in the latter stage. You also need the lockdown so that the
Your team
ultimate
is
of the
banning.
Alice is gonna have so much potential, right? And then again, if you think about it, Sylvana would have been good against the Benedetta. So Bren Sports also took that out. However, since there's already joined for the side of RPH, they pick up the Kagura, which is a classic combo as well. I love the Kagura pick. It really answers all the 3 picks of Bren Sports, especially in the early game.
Combinations for days for both of the 3 picks that we're seeing so far. Brandy Sports taking away the Brody, who is friendly with damage dealing items. I mean, he was one of those marksmen that really didn't need so much of it, hence the tank Brody builds coming up. But then with the adjustments, more teams want to build damage because you just get so much out of it.
Yeah.
Now RPH
Your
are target
team
banning
is banning.
mid supports here. They take away the Baksha that could have been played by either Lusty or Flap. Now, for Bren Esports, do you think there's a possibility that they'll switch up their draft and maybe bring in marksmen into the last 2 picks, seeing as how you can still flex the picks that they have there?
It is definitely possible, but I would say knowing Bren Sports, they will care. These heroes alone, they require
Your
so
team
much
is
farm.
banning.
And if you put another marksman in there, maybe a 1-1 for example, that might be too much greed on their part. And you know, RPH, they are quick to punish greed, even when they do have a player named Greed.
Yeah, you can't get too greedy against Greed, even though he jokingly said on his social media that I only know how to play Kagura.
No, but yeah, you know what, RPH, let's not throw that idea. I mean, Claude could be their jungler for Bren Sports, or a side-leaning Claude alongside the Alice, then pick something like a Chango so that they can clear the waves. That might be possible.
Or a PH here. Let's see what they're going to pick up. This will determine the tempo or what Bren Esports are going to go for their last 2 picks. Meaning on the red side, RPH has a chance to surprise
Your
with
team
their
is
last
picking.
pick. They pick up a Khalid, and this is most likely going to the hands of Kilowash. One of the few Khalid players that we've seen throughout the season.
Interestingly, RPH already picked this against the Sylvana, which was against Work Oster Force. It's just a big frontliner for RPH, a hero that can check the bushes so that the Sylvana will not be too confident in popping his ultimate, because what can you do against a Khalid? Even if you lock him down, it's just gonna lifesteal his way out and maybe just pop the quicksand guard and deal the damage. And again, the ultimate of the Khalid, it has a little bit of a I know it has a little bit of a mechanic wherein you purify some of your debuffs. So that's also very good against the Sylvana.
And I heard a Lapu Lapu get
Your
picked up here
team
by
is
Bren, and a
picking.
Popol and Kuba. Surprise here for Bren Esports, and with how it's looking, okay, we're not gonna see the adjustments just yet. But who do you think is most likely gonna play who? Is it gonna be a few Sylvana?
Hero. He might not be like the most flashy one, but he is how to say this, very smart about his choices where he puts his traps, so that this is your vision hero for Bren Esports. I want to say Bren Esports, however, they kind of just depended on their comfort. I don't like their draft in a way that it's not like the strongest heroes in the meta combined together. Like the Lapu Lapu might be punished easily, and this Claude makes a lot of sense now. This Claude, although there are a considerable amount of lockdown coming out from Bren Esports through the pokes from the Popol and Koopa, the Lapu Lapu with multiple stunts, and the Sylvana out there, it just makes it so that RPH will have a very comfortable Claude in their hands.
And now these 2 teams, one thing I want to say about Bren Esports, despite their very rocky start to the season, is that they still have that, how do I say this, their main strength of positioning themselves well in the jungle. But the thing is, RPH are great at that as well. So with the 2 lineups that we have here, I'm having a little bit of a hard time deciding for myself who has a better advantage with taking objectives.
Objectives wise, this is weird, but I'm gonna say I think it's quite even, but RPH will if they are the first ones to be in position, they definitely will have more advantage, especially in Turtles and Lords. I want to say though, they have to be careful because of the vision game that the Popol and Kupa can provide. When it comes to like the brunt force damage, like if it's a head-on collision, I want to say Aura PH will get the upper hand when it comes to objectives. But when they are outsmarted and outwitted by positioning from Bren Esports, it's gonna be difficult for them.
And interesting, at what we're seeing on the map here, JP gonna be rocking that support role, Jawhead, taking over there for Felicia in what he usually does with his position. As you mentioned there, Lusty is gonna be rocking the Popol and Koopa with the Avarice. You think he's gonna follow the same build path as Venus, picking up the, I believe he picked up the
Molten Essence.
Molten Essence, then the Thunderbelt eventually.
It makes a lot of sense. I think when it comes to the playstyle, especially of Bren Esports, they also love the poke kind of strategy. So that is very much possible to get the Molten Essence into the Thunderbelt. And they don't really need that much tankiness because what they can do is to juggle their opponents. I think that's one thing that we can take note of Bren Esports. They have so many mobility tools along their here so that they can juggle the Aura PH's bursts, if ever.
And now we're seeing a rotation here by Aura PH. Going to be really aggressive. Rebo really low. Lusties might get caught out here. The ejector toss stops him from getting away. And I think this is first blood going to the hands of Aura. How good is it that they got to window down a member of Bren Esports right away?
Yeah, it would have been perfect if it was Rebo that they were able to take down, but Lusty read through that and just defended his mate. He died because of that, but at least it's gonna give a little bit of advantage to Rebo. Now he's playing against Benny Cutie.
Yeah, Benny Cutie might want to change his name to Greed because he's doing everything he can just to try to get a kill onto Rebo, risking everything for a nothing. So what could have been a great start for him with already one kill, he also has to add one death.
The Esmeralda do take note. Rebo is also one of the better Esmeralda players in the league right now. So he knew exactly the range to start this dance.
Yeah, and Few dancing along with Greed in the mid lane, who Greed gets caught in the commenting lines by the end, but Carl He cannot follow up. Flame shot right there. Cool guys walk away from flame shots, and he was able to get away, but Rebo was the one who gets caught out. Electro-fineable used there for the turtle, and the turtle goes to Bren, secured by them, or PH are gonna reset.
The trade was, there was a kill onto the bottom lane of Bancuti, although it was a 1-for-1 trade-off that maybe Rebo overstayed his welcome because he already was able to get a kill onto Bancuti with the help of Cartesi. I think he did not regen up because the smarter thing to do is just to go back to base, recall to base, and just fight the Esmeralda with full HPs once again. Maybe that didn't happen.
Yeah, and JP, let's see if him escaping will happen, and it did. Ultimate's committed by Brent to try to cash him out, but he survives. Now, Benny Cutie is at 2-1-0. If Benny Cutie can get out of lane first, break that tower first, and start roaming around more frequently, quick answer, will Brent Esports have the right tools to take down this Esmeralda?
Well, not yet. When it comes to timing, no, absolutely not. Because if you're looking at Bren Esports, they don't have the immediate burst. In fact, if you look at their lineup, it's a little bit ramp up in the nature. It's kind of sustained damage.
Yeah, and you just got tossed up there, but he'll be able to get away. But it's JP who's still one who's going to get shot out there by Bren Esports. So 2 for 2 on the kill board right now. Bren Esports is going to try to find and make a play out of this. Kilowatt gets spotted out there in the show by Flap Teasy. He's going to be going up after Ash's Khalid, who used the Raging Sandstorm to get away with a flicker forward, as well as the stun. Stops Ash from getting away, and that is going to be Few and Flap Teasy securing the kill on the Khalid.
You know what? A little bit of freeway for what I just said. Earlier on, I talked about the juggling potential of Bren Esports and that they threw in their skills and lost their positioning. Bren Esports was quick to punish.
Yeah, and Carl Teasy just punishing Aura PH right now, able to steal away their purple buff and Greed with the Cyclone Eye, able to get away. And now what I'm seeing here from JP is that I'm not sure if he's out of his element or he's just playing so carefully, knowing that he might walk into a trap, he might get stunned because of the lockdown focus duo you have in mid of Lusty and Few. I can't blame JP. He doesn't have many options. He has to play carefully now. Rebo, let's see what options he has here. Can he drag this out? Can he survive? Immobilize onto Kilowatt. Rebo will be able to use the flicker to get away, so he's already burned that, and Flowing Blood as well.
Oh man. I think the answer to your question why JP is playing so carefully, I know that they should be playing with the highest level, right? But I think that JP might not be, how do I say this? He might not be as comfortable as Rafflesia is, for example, when it comes to playing the Joyed. He might not have the mastery of the hero, right? And apart from that, this Popol and Koopa is just so annoying. That's one thing I want to say about Lusty is that he's very good at playing this hero just because of the positioning and the information that he gets out of the map.
Carl TZ invading the orange side. Buff of Aura PHQ is there nearby to help him out. Great chromatic lance to stop the momentum of Kilowatt for just a bit. And the Raging Sandstorm misses out on Carl TZ. It's going to be a 1-on-1 against Kilowatt. K versus K. Let's see if they'll continue it. No, they don't, as Kilowatt uses the second skill to heal up under tower, but he runs into JP. This did Carl TZ. JP's not going to be able to do that much against Carl Benedetta right now, though. Scrappy fights all over the map. Focus on the mid lane. Few and Lusty are going to get spot out there by Greed and Benecuti, who are doing everything they can to make sure that Hades gets his purple buff. And Brent Esports are creeping in with 4 members. And in the back line, Revo able to secure a kill there onto the Khalid. Greed, Hades, and JP too far away from the members of Aura, but it's actually Aura who went away with the victory there, securing 2 kills against Brent.
Oh, this is a nice clash from both teams. I want to say Aura PH with a better timing when it comes to the re-engage. Brent Esports, they could have lost more, I want to say, but Few was amazing. He used the ultimate just to lock down the heroes that were chasing the Carl TZ Benedetta. And that was the reason why Aura PH didn't get more than they could have. If not for the heroics of Few, that would be a disaster for Brain Esports. But Aura PH, they still won that skirmish, and that I will attribute that to their timing of counter-initiating against Brain Esports.
Yeah, but now the problem for Hades is he doesn't have his purple or orange buff on him, and this turtle has already spawned. Let's see if Aura PH will be able to take this, as Brent Esports are eyeing the second turtle of the game to go to their side again. Kilowatt coming in a little bit too early. He's going to get caught up, but the Few is going to go down and go blazing duet. Not enough to steal that turtle because Carl TZ just got a double kill, and he might go for a triple. He does, he gets it. Let's see if he can get a maniac. Can he take down Benny Cutie? Will this be a 4K for Carl TZ? And it is the second maniac of Season 7 goes to Carl TZ on the Benedetta.
Now, we were talking about how Brent Esports can manage all of their resources in form of skills as well as their battle spells. They didn't even need to burn some of their flickers, so we can see in the replay how well they juggled. Look at the positioning of Few. He went for the backliners of Aura PH so that Carl TZ can focus one after the other the members of Aura PH.
Great objective take, and that instant replay is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999. And Carl TZ, go get that maniac. Let's see that again. Boom! What a play and what an execution there by Brent Esports. Now Aura PH, the lead has greatly gone to the favor of Brent Esports. What does Aura need to do to come back here?
Well, they needed to clear the way for now. They still have great potential when it comes to the late game because they do have the Claude, they have Kagura that can burst heroes, particularly the supports. They also have the Esmeralda. They also need a better job, I would say, utilizing JP to peel off the members of Brent Esports. Because you know what is happening from the past few skirmishes? It's just Brent Esports juggling everything that Aura is throwing at them. And not only that, Brent Esports are also fighting around objectives. This is one thing that I will want to take note for Brent Esports when you're watching them. They're so good at this. This is why they were champions in M2. Because they know where to fight, when to fight, so that they can make the most out of the map. For example, those victories, those skirmishes that Brent Esports won, it was always around turtle areas, always around those macro objectives. And this is why they're also leading by an immense amount of gold 9 minutes in.
Yeah, and it's even gonna get even larger, the lead here, because that's another purple buff here, stolen away from Hades, and Hades has been purple buffless for quite some time now. He at least he got the orange. I mean, at least he held on to that. But this Lord, this major objective once again is going to go to the side of Brent Esports. And a part of me says, or a part of me really thinks here, that this Popol and Koopa pick really threw off JP and how he can position with this Jawhead.
I completely agree with you. This is Brent Esports. Just showing us how it's done. This is not the first time that they use the Popol and Koopa against all these mobile heroes. All these heroes that kind of depend on controlling the map.
Yes.
And if you mind the minimap from the first minute up until the last, you will notice that JP isn't really comfortable just running around the map just like a normal Jawhead would, right? Because of the Popol and Koopa, the existence of this hero. And look at what he did. He didn't go the Venus route wherein for Molten Essence. He went straight into the Deadly Blade, which is so much valuable against the Esmeralda as well as the Kali, the side laners of Aura. And with both side laners shut down by Bren Esports, their movements and their itemization, it just meant that Claude isn't activated as well. Because you cannot farm with the Claude if your side lanes are weak.
And let's see if Oracle can have a strong defense here as Red Esports has marched into their base. They're aiming to take down 3 inhibitor turrets or maybe just the middle one. As the team goes in with the Imperial Justice. And the follow-up is there for Red Esports. But Aura PH with their minion wave clear is keeping this dream alive. They take down Few, they take down Flapteezy, and Ren Esports was only able to get, actually no, they weren't able to get any of the inhibitor turrets there. Was that a little bit of a early engage there by Few, or was that just a great response by Aura PH?
I want to say it's a combination of both. Bren Esports, they were kind of too focused on taking down Lord Hades. I think the call there was Few was able to just see the Claude and just jump onto the Claude. And you know what? Any other team would have taken that jump because they were able to just fish out where the jungler is from the opponents. And I can't blame Bren too much for that. I think that it was the right idea. But then again, you have to always take note. This is still RPH. They're very good at coming back.
Yeah, and that's a lot of AoE magic damage coming out on the side of Aura. Actually, just AoE in general. So if you're gonna dive under tower, it's not gonna be a long fight because your minion waves are gonna go out really quickly. Now, mid lane and top lane again is gonna be the focus here for Bren. Let's see if he's just gonna go in. Nope, just using the flowing blood to get a bit more information here. Bren Esports eyeing out the top turret here. Greed is gonna get caught out. Make that JP actually. The Electro Blow already committed and Bren Esports have dived in. JP has been forced back. Few and Red Esports have broken down the tower in the top lane. Let's see if Red can get another one. It looks like they're just waiting for the minion waves, but now, finally, I think that was the play that they wanted to go for earlier.
You know, that was exactly the words that I'm already preparing in my mouth. Yes, this was the idea that Bren Esports wanted to do. They don't really want to overcommit onto getting the kills. All they wanted to do was just fend up Aura, just damage the heroes of Aura so that they cannot be comfortable defending, and then use your Papa and Koopa as well as your long-range artillery just to take down the turret, and that top lane so clean coming out from Bren Esports.
Great execution there. 10,000 though is our gold lead now. The Claude is only at 6,691. He just picked up a golden staff, and I can't blame Lord Hades here. We just kept constantly getting invaded, which is funny because RPH is the team known usually to invade a lot, but this time they tried to play a little bit more defensively, but Bren Esports just have the right tools to make defending in the jungle so difficult.
You know, I don't want to really blame Aura PH or JP this moment, but I think that if it was Reflecia was playing, it would be a totally different story. Because I've known a guy, I've seen and casted that guy play the Jawhead in the tank role, and he knows exactly how to invade. Maybe this is a combination of lack of comfort or lack of mastery from JP in combination with the fact that there's a Popol and Koopa that's present on the side of Bren Esports. Those two things, when those things combine, it's just so difficult for someone like JP to be an invader or a jungle choker in this particular game. I mean, this is not an unfamiliar play for Aura PH. They have done this before. Kagura and Joed, they should be just taking over the map. But unfortunately, Bren Esports are one step ahead in this particular matchup, and all of those early game control that Bren Esports were able to get, it just is now piling up, and Aura PH is just a difficult game already for them.
Yeah, it's close to a 5,000 gold lead for Carl T. He's
over
7-0 and 2. Yeah, over Lord Hades.
Oh my god.
Oh man, really, you just said it, the early game completely punishing Aura here in the late game. And let's see, what else can Aura PH do? Try to come back. Probably takes a lot of damage from Greed. He decides to dodge out of there. They're just preparing, get a little bit more control topside so that they buy a bit more time for themselves to take this Lord. Aura PH has to play this really smart, or if they don't, it'll be the end of their game. Mobilize on the JP and Hanslord already spawned, and look at the amount of damage. I think that just came out from Few even, not just Rebo.
Yeah.
Aura PH are nearby. See if they can take it. They're gonna go for the wraparound. Few is there with the stop. Chromatic lands, buying time. Aura PH decide to back out. They stretch out a little bit too far now, and now it's gonna be Bren Esports punishing Aura PH, but Aura PH are fighting back. few gets caught out there, but that's already a killing spree gotten by Reball. Double kill by him. Benny Cutie so far from everyone else because all the way in the back, Lord Hades has used the Blazing Duet to try and take out Reball. The Winter Trojans keeps him alive, and Lusty is there as well for the assist. Reball thinking maybe I should not. Benny Cutie though uses the Falling Star move, gets smacked in the face by the hero of Mactan, Lapu-Lapu, getting that kill, and with 3 down, I think it's just a few seconds away until we see Bren Esports win this game 1 victory.
Oh man, Aura looks helpless, and even when they tried to go for their best play, I want to say Greed played that wonderfully. That skirmish, were able to just deal so much damage, but again, because of the disparity of the gold, the damage wasn't enough. Afterwards, it's just completely outplay from Bren Esports. What they did was to juggle the members of our page. I said that word so many times already in this particular game, but that is exactly what happened in that specific skirmish of top lane. Nora PH, they look like they were trying to punch Bren Esports, but they're not reaching. Maybe because imagine, I know there's a reference for that, but Aura PH, they look like a boxer who's just strapped in chains, just punching in the air. They have something to give, but they just can't hit Bren Esports because of how the positioning and timing was well done.
Oh, JP going in though with the flicker, the ejector. Reball immediately gets deleted, and Aura PH might be able to take down the members of Bren Esports here to hold down and keep this game going. But with the Lord marching in, it's a messy one for Bren. They were surprised by the flicker and the ejector coming in by JP, but no, Aura PH, can they, will they? Yes, they can. The surprise was there. Bren Esports a little bit too busy with the stickers and with the recalls. This game is going to go on a little bit longer now. JP saying, making up for the fact that, okay, I know my early game wasn't that great. It's not my fault though, but oh no, I thought someone help me here as he gets immobilized. But now Benny Cutie comes in with a Falling Star, Moon and Kilowatt with the Raging Sandstorm as well. There's 2 members down on the side of Bren Esports. This is bad. Lord Hades chasing after Carl Deasy, using the BMI to get away from that. And the Claude saves himself really close. Now Bren suddenly with Aura PH for the longest time, they couldn't punch. Now they were able to throw some counter punches. But wait,
some of the chains were broken a little bit.
Can someone clear this?
Kilowatt? He can do it. He knows. Okay.
Ash? What? Oh my goodness! What did we just see?
Victory!
No way.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we are officially out of words. I have lost my ability to can.
Alright there, this winning moment is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999. That's a first.
That's a first.
Welcome to the MPL.
Welcome to the MPL, everyone. You know what? I was just gonna say. This is a real story. In my head, I was saying, RPH, they have done this before. They were known to come back from very dangerous spots, from very tremendous leads, but that was not RPH, I would say.
Yeah, Kilowatt, I think that was a bit of a misplay. Not a bit, that was a major misplay. I don't know if Aura PH... Okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Aura PH... Do you think they called for... Guys, let's just move on to game 2. This looks grim, but...
No,
they wouldn't do that.
They just won 2 massive team fights.
Yeah.
That's a big morale boost, and obviously a big economic boost when it comes to in-game factors. Outside of it, it's big morale boost, right? But that is... I think Coach Arcade and Coach Dale will talk to the guy for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of talking, a lot to peel from that match. So, everyone's favorite analyst, or one of our favorite analysts, sorry Wolf, no.
That's okay.
Sorry man, I still can't believe what we just saw, but
oh my
Midnight
God.
is gonna lay it down for us when we pass it on over to him. Okay, composure, Reptar, composure.
No, I think everybody's just shook.
Yeah, me too.
You, me, I know you are. Everybody's watching right now, and obviously the whole of Aura PH.
Yeah.
Can you imagine I don't even know how they talk to each other. Because Brenny, Aura PH, I know them. They aren't a team that will blame each and everybody, right? They're quite an ensemble, and they are so cool with each other. I'm sure there's a longer awkward silence in the boot camp.
Yeah, I wonder how long it took Kilowatt for him to go. That one was on me. I'm sorry, guys. Oh
my,
man.
that's so weird.
Okay.
Judging, this is just me just understanding the psychology of the players, and I think the direction that the Khalid was moving towards is it's as if he's looking at another part of the map.
Yeah.
With this, when he's not looking at his hero. That's probably why.
Well, we can assume all we want. Let's see what Midnight has to think about it with his analysis. Midnight.
Thanks so much, casters. And from the words of the great Manjin Faldas, wins games. For Bren Esports, welcome to the Analyst Desk. My name is Midnight, and pag-uusapan natin kung paano ba nanalo ang Bren Esports against Aura PH. Actually, really important for us to see the itemization of Bren Esports here on how they dealt with the heroes of Aura PH. Now, the key item here is the Deadly Blade. Of course, the statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Now, if we are gonna look at the items of Bren Esports here, you're gonna see 3 key items on their side. Number 1 is the Deadly Blade on Popol and Koopa. Number 2 is the Sea Halberd on Flaptizi. Number 3 is the Necklace of Durans on Pew on the Silvana. This means that they have anti-regen against Aura PH earlier on in the game. So Aura PH cannot really sustain the damage output of Bren Esports. So effectively negated na kagad si Esmeralda, pati na rin si Khalid on the early game. Now, one big problem that Aura faced on the early game is sustain. And very cutely decided to go for the Enchanted Talisman and Calamity Reaper build instead of the Brute Force Breastplate, which made the game harder for Aura PH kasi hindi nga nila kaya i-sustain yung mga skirmishes na dinala nila sa Bren Esports, and that is why Bren was able to pull off with a huge lead against Aura PH. But of course, kinaya pa rin naman nila kumuha ng resource, nakakapag-farm pa rin naman sila, but at the end of the day, Bren Esports held onto their lead, even ending the game with almost 10,000 gold lead against Aura PH, and that secured the game for them. Actually, isang magandang i-highlight din natin dito, yung Popol and Koopa pick-up ng Bren Esports. When they saw the Jawhead and the Kagura, sabi nila, okay, you want vision, we're gonna limit that by picking Popol and Koopa. Koopa is good at zoning out heroes on the side of Aura PH, kaya napadali sobra yung early game ng Bren Esports. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are the post-game stats. Of course, brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Now, we've laid out all the conditions for Bren Esports. Number 1 is to limit the vision that the Jawhead and the Kagura can give by having the Popol and Koopa. Ang trabaho lang ni Lusty dito is to provide vision and actually tanggalin yung aggression ng Kagura at ng Jawhead. Now, we are gonna be looking at the highlights here of our game. Of course, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. At the start of the game, okay, nakakuha sila ng kill kay Popol and Koopa. But of course, it is the sole job of Lusty na protektahan yung kanyang mga cores up until such time na kaya na lumaban. Actually, Benny Cutie was doing a fantastic job on the bottom lane, even forcing Rebo to be helped by Cartesi. But then again, look at the positioning here of Bren Esports. Every single time na nagsusubok lumaban yung Joy at Kagura, they're always blocked by the Popol and Koopa, pati na rin si Silvana rito on Pew. And nandyan yung punish capabilities ng hero sila, having the early Deadly Blade para hindi maka-regen yung mga heroes like Khalid, sila Esmeralda, and of course, Bren Esports, they know that they are the early game lineup. As much as possible, they want to find skirmishes against Aura PH. Kaya sa early game pa lang, nakita natin 6 minutes in, 8 kills kagad for both teams. Now, this is actually a really good moment for Bren Esports. Now, they found the kill on Kilowatt on the backline. Tapos nakuha pa ni Cartesi yung turtle with the fantastic retribution timing. Nakita pa niya yung backline heroes ng Aura PH and secure the kill on the Jungle Claude. So this allows Bren Esports to have a huge momentum swing in their favor, and nakuha pa nga ni Cartesi yung maniac kill score on this game. Ito yung sinasabi natin na 10,000 gold lead na ang Bren Esports. What Aura PH does good is that they can hold their base against Bren Esports. They have an Esmeralda, they have a Kagura, and they have a Khalid. So Bren Esports decided na, okay guys, kailangan natin to ilabas ng base ng Aura PH kasi napakalakas nila magsama-sama as 5 inside their own base. Now, Aura PH, they did have their timing, they did have their chance, they did have the opportunity to take down the heroes of Bren Esports, pero napanish sila ni Few with a fantastic Imperial Justice on 3 and Rebo just cleaning up Aura PH's heroes. Now again, the team fight happened inside the base. The Lord was trying to take down the turret, the base of Aura PH, but after that, they defended successfully and lumabas ng base yung Aura PH, no, which I think personally is a huge mistake kasi nangyari dito is even though nakakuha sila ng 2 kills, this allows the setup for the Minions. Ito na, ladies and gentlemen, Kilowash trying his best to defend against the minion wave. Yung 4 na heroes, dinedelay na lang ng Bren. And I'm pretty sure, kita ng Bren yung nangyayari dito. No? This specific moment, kitang-kita ng Bren yan. Sabi niya, guys, habulin natin lahat na nagre-recall. Kung tayo mahilig tayong mag-recall, sila bawal mag-recall. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the highlights. And of course, the MVP of our game will be Carl TZ on this Benedetta. This MVP of the game is brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. Benedetta for Carl TZ, it is still the same story. This guy is a very good player. Having KDA of 703, dealing a net amount of damage 62,818. He really was the key factor here for Bren Esports. Just, pushing the pedal aggression. I mean, number 2 should be focused on the draft and the early game rotations kasi medyo walang plano yung lineup ng Aura PH. And ang ganda rin kasi ng sagot ng Bren Esports. So I think they should be ready for that for game number 2, which we will be seeing after this. So casters, back to you.
And we are back. Hey everyone, Reptar here, and I am with one of my favorite, equally along with Midnight analysts in the league, Wolf.
I love it.
And Wolf, I've been trying to come up with puns with what just happened. I mean, of course, I don't want to take away from everything that we just saw. Midnight was able to lay down some wonderful analysis with what happened throughout the game, but of course, you cannot deny the fact of what we just saw in the last game, the disaster that we saw. But let's try to move on away from that. Game number 2, minus what happened there in the end, what does Aura need to do now?
Oh my God.
To force a game number 3?
There was a little bit of a harsh comment coming out from Midnight where in English, Midnight kind of said that there is no plan for the lineup of Aura PH. I cannot say I disagree, but at the same time, the thing is, Aura PH, the plan was really so scattered all over the place. I just want to say they are kind of just might be depending on the fact that we can win this with our good heroes because Lord Hades, he can play the Claude, right? He can play, so he's playing well with the Claude. They can play well with the Esmeralda from Benecuti, and Kagura is good on Greed. And maybe the plan was, okay, let's pick up the heroes that we are comfortable with and just win it by force. And although that is already a plan, that is a plan in itself, it will not work against someone like Bren Esports with obviously the better plan when it comes to executing around objectives. I guess that's the idea of what Midnight wanted to say about about that harsh statement, which I kind of agree, or at least I don't disagree with.
Well, let's see who will make draft choices. Smart choices in the draft. Cash It Next, brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game grade with Smart, free games for all. Urgency is the name of the game and the story for this series as Bren Esports trying to crawl themselves into finally
Your
getting
team
a point
is banning.
in the league. Or I believe they have 1 point because they were able to get 1 game win but not a series win.
That's right.
While Aura PH just trying to regain their momentum after winning in day number 1. So, with the bans that we have here, Benedetta and the Natalia, are there any specific, other than the Benedetta getting banned out here, any bans that you might see from Aura PH, maybe as
while we were also watching Midnight News Analysis, I was also able to scroll through the Facebook my timeline, and obviously because I kind of expected what's gonna happen,
Your
right?
team
And
is
one
banning.
funny thing that was brought up there was Ducky posted that it's minions greater than sign flap. So greater than minion than flap. And I just want to throw back to what we talked about before the draft about the matchup. It's Kilowash and Flap TZ. There was a meme that kind of circulated wherein Ducky kind of commented from I think it was a pre-game press conference from Bren Esports.
Yeah.
And what they were talking about is that they respect Ash, and Ash should just replace Flap TZ. I think that the story just goes on, and this love and hate relationship from Ducky and Flap TZ. I know it's just a jest, but it's a storyline that we should be following.
It's a story.
Your team
the
is
legend
banning.
grows.
The legend grows, right?
And in a surprising fashion, Selena getting taken out here. I think we've only seen. I don't even recall seeing a Selena at all yet. It's just been constantly banned out here in this season. Brand Esports, of course, taking away hero that's usually banned out, Natalia, though we saw that used by Omega yesterday, and the Shin getting taken out here. So Aura PH with her
Your
first
team
pickup.
is picking.
The Matilda and the Benedetta favored first picks are gone, so you have the Sylvana open.
Uranus is open as well.
Oh yeah, the Aura PH was the one who banned that out earlier, actually.
That's right. Now them being in the blue side, they might be considering taking it. But then again, Esmeralda is available. So that's also one thing that RPH will be considering. It's more like, I don't want to give the Esmeralda ever to Brand Esports because they were so comfortable with it. Although they have lost with it, it's just that Brand Esports, they have two players that can play the Esmeralda, and they don't want to give that away. And it's not like there's a hero that can straight up just take
Your
it out.
team
But
is
then again,
picking.
RPH, they are going to go back to the Jawhead. Might be doing a better job this time.
Sylvana.
And there is the Sylvana, automatically picked up by Brand Esports. Uranus is available as well as the Esmeralda. I think one of those two heroes will be considered by Brand Esports now.
Now Alice
Your
is
team
going to go to
is
the hands
picking.
of Brand Esports. Most likely that is going to be going to Rebo, and two very similar picks once again here for Bren. You mentioned that something about how they were going more towards their comfort in game number one. Maybe that is what Bren Esports needs right now, some comfort pick, some familiarity, because they find themselves in an unfamiliar situation of just not hitting their stride, not having momentum.
No, the answer to that, I think, is the Alice. Brand Esports, a lot of comfort onto Rebo. We saw that in the lane matchup from the previous game, where Rebo was able to just out-position the Esmeralda.
Yeah.
And one thing that I do want to take note about the
Your
Alice
team
is
is
that this is a
picking.
hero that can kind of answer both the Esmeralda and the Uranus because of
Your
reach
team
potential.
is banning.
And okay, before I talk about this, this is such a wonderful pick from Brain Esports. I want to say though, RPH, a very smart take, a clever take. I think the proper term is clever. I'm gonna go for the Thams and the Valir instead so that they can be disruptive, but at the same time, they can control the map with his Thams because both Benecutie and Kilowash can play the Thams when it comes to controlling the map. But Brody, oh my goodness, Brain Esports, they have won a world championship because of this hero.
Your
And this is
team
very
is
surprising to
banning.
me. RPH, let this Brody be picked up by Brain Esports.
They probably sensed that it was coming because, you did mention World Championship won by Brand Esports with this Brody. Now for Aura PH, you also brought it up, this could be going to either Benecutie or Ash, so that's something Brand Esports has to watch out for here, because if they think immediately that, oh, that's going to be going to Kilowatt, they might just get surprised here by Aura. The last time we saw Tams get played out here by Aura PH, though, it didn't go all too well for them. Last time we saw a win from we saw a win from his Tams though in game 3 against Work.
Your
After
team
Force.
is
But
banning.
in game number 1 against Work, he was just absolutely pressured.
That's right.
And with Kilowatt on the Tams getting pressured earlier it was his Khalid getting pressured early. Could that be another key for Brand Esports to do again, where we need to pressure Ash and make sure he loses the lane
Absolutely.
early on?
You know, that was a wonderful idea that you just brought up. I think that is definitely what Brand Esports will do. Because Aura PH, they kind of struggle when their side lanes are a little bit disabled, right? If they are not able to activate their side lanes first, their
Your
mid lanes
team
will
is
not.
banning.
And who are in the mid lane for RPH is their jungler and their mid laner Greed. If they cannot do the plays because of the fact that their side lanes are weak and pressured so much, it will not look like RPH at all.
Yeah, and they're up against Flap TZ, who you mentioned at the start of the series, someone who loves to roam a lot.
That's
like,
right.
He doesn't stay in lane often. He usually only stays in lane if he's behind.
Yep.
But most of the time, if I get to clear my minion wave first, I'm going to get out of here. So, still a question of what Flap is going to pick out, but big question here is what Aura will take out. Speaking of that, maybe they'll consider taking out one of his heroes here.
Yeah, Uranus or something. Well, Esmeralda is a possibility, but it might not
Your
be
team
the case.
is picking.
They take out Angela instead, so it's the Rebo or the Few hero. We don't know whether the Angela will be side lane or mid lane support, right? Because it can be played both ways. And Bren Esports is known to field that Angela onto Rebo as well.
The last time we saw it being in day number 2, though it didn't go all that well
my God.
for Bren Esports. Probably more of like a deterrent pick.
Yeah.
Probably scared that, oh, what if we're going to be going up against an Angela and a Brody?
That's right. Might be another Lapu pick coming out from Bren Esports, and they can close it out with something like Eudora. Because Eudora and Brody, they go hand in hand. Instead, they go Esmeralda, which is a hero that we also talked about before. And imagine this, active Esmeralda, passive Alice. In the late game, it will be disruptive, but there is a big problem here for Bren Esports. Most of their damage are now based on magic.
So Bren Esports will want to try to get that momentum early, but then they have a bit of insurance on the Brody as well. I think it's going to be more of objectives, not necessarily the objectives in the jungle, but laning.
Yeah.
And the minion wave management is going to be the name of the game here for these two teams.
Oh, that's right. For RPH, I think that they need a little bit of a tanky hero, but not based on like actual sustain. But then again, they are lacking a jungler. Maybe they even when they have so much sustain from the Alice as well as the Esmeralda, they still are very squishy in theory. On paper, they have very low max HP, but they do kind of compromise with that with sustain, right? The shields of the Esmeralda, sustain of the Alice. But if you think about it, Granger and Lunox, with all of the bursts from these heroes, they might be able to just blow up Bren Esports.
Yeah, and RPH are going to be looking to get some poke-ins.
Yeah.
Make sure JP gets the ejectors in, but the Rafaela, now that's a lot of sustain and potentially a catch as well with the ultimate if you can get that stun in.
Yeah.
Did this change the favor of the draft, or was this just an alright pick?
It's an alright pick. I think Bren Esports, they clearly showed that they want to go for the Carl TZ route here. It's 4 protect 1 once again. Although obviously Flat TZ and Rebo will be able to get their own amount of farm and get some damage in the end, it's still just protecting the king, or at least protecting the prodigy this time. Carl TZ will have so much farm for sure. Because the thing is, if you are looking at the heroes of RPH from the middle part, it's a mid-laning Lunox and a tank Joed. There's just immense amount of jungle invasion that can come out from RPH. But with the Rafaela in there, at least there's a way for them to protect this Carl TZ. So it's a very, I would say, again, clever choice from Bren Esports. It's not like an auto-win per se, but at the same time, it gives Bren Esports some reliever in the early stages of the match.
Let's see if this Rafael is going to be rocking that focusing mark, so that's even more damage coming out. And he is rocking the Avarice, actually.
Yeah.
So no extra damage coming out of the, or extra buffed up damage from the Rafaela's emblem. So RPA is now showing up playing a little bit more aggressively now. JP with some really aggressive positioning. Greed is there as well for the wraparound. So look at that. Constant or immediate pressure this early on the purple side buff. Even though it's 2v3, they say, you know what, I think we can do this. We can buy some time for Lord Hades to farm even more. Who's going all the way to that orange buff. And Aura are really doing everything they can just to stall Carl TZ.
A very smart take coming out from Aura PH. They know that the Granger, if it clears the way first, gets a level 2, he is quite invincible already. Because you will have the Rondo as well as the Rhapsody, which means that he has damage against junglers and jungle creeps, as well as mobility, that when he's pressured by someone, he just can Rondo away from that. So that's very smart. He's gonna get level 4, and Culties is just level 2. What a wonderful rotation from Aura PH.
Yeah, great rotation. Instead of actually going for any of his buffs first, as we said, he went straight for the orange. Even Flap TZ felt like there was a possibility he was going to do that, but was just a moment too late. Of course, probably expecting that he timed it for, okay, he's going to get his buff first and then go to the Aura.
That's right.
Great rotation there by Aura, as we mentioned, but now Brent Esports trying to find rotation and a flow for themselves, as well as Carl Teasy has not hit level 4 yet. Rebo and Kilowatt smacking each other in the bottom lane. Flap Teasy and Benny Cutie. Now, this matchup of the Lunox versus the Esmeralda. How is this gonna go?
What I like about this is that Benny Cutie, if he positions himself well, he's gonna make it difficult for Flap Teasy. Because Flap Teasy, if you're noticing, he's rocking the Avarice, which means that he kind of needs to get close so that the Stardust Dance will hit the Lunox to pop those procs, right? But again, he's a Lunox.
Yeah, and speaking of popping, Rebo going in and he gets popped off by Greed's Valir, taking out the Alice, and Brent Esports are going to continue this fight, but that's going to be 2 kills already, and the turtle for Aura. This is a fantastic start for Aura Philippines, as that's 3 kills and a turtle to start off the match.
Disastrous for Brent Esports. I also want to take note the advantage of getting that jungle invasion coming up from RPH. Lord Hades has free levels when it comes to his gap between the junglers before that turtle fight started. And do take note, Reptar, that the Retribution, its damage scales depending on your level. That means that no matter what happens, RPH will have the advantage when it comes to the Retribution war around the turtle area.
Yeah, and now Flap Easy with a war against Kilowatt, who props his Counter Inferno so that he can clear up the minion wave and rotate faster to mid. JP though gets caught out by the members of Brent Esports, probably looking for an ejector pickoff, but only gets picked off himself. Greed trying to disrupt, almost getting hit by that Comedic Lance, could have been disastrous. So Aura PH now, earlier we mentioned they were the ones getting invaded, they set the tempo early on. We're going to be the ones doing invading, and now it's Carl Teasy having a difficult time getting the buffs and getting the farm.
Oh wow. And do take note, RPH, they went in for double masks, which meant that Greed will not have much farm, I would say. Kind of even with Greed as well as JP, but it won't matter so much. All they wanted to do was to really just funnel everything into Lord Hades at this point. If last game, Lord Hades had to farm so much, and he's going to be depending on the Cloud, which is a very, I would say this, slow farmer when it comes to jungling. This time, they're going to put some pedal into this Aura PH tempo that they wanted to have.
Yeah, good micro play there by JP, tossing Greed away.
That's right.
Almost getting taken down here. This Valir could be big here for this fight. Let's see who can get the second turtle of the game. The first one went to Aura, and now JP spotting out Carl Teasy. The pick off is there, and the turtle once again going to Granger. Carl Teasy gets picked off, and that's a double kill for Lopus. Good call there, because that really looked bad for Brent. They're already behind. They have to get their wins elsewhere.
Oh my goodness, you're absolutely correct. Because what I saw from Brent Esports is that they know that they are already disadvantaged. I think that they're depending on their championship buff already, because they kind of feel that, okay, maybe we can outplay them out of it. But obviously that's not happening. As Lord Hades, my god, the burst. Again, Brent Esports, during that second turtle fight, I think that their idea is maybe we can outplay this, maybe we can out-sustain them. We are good players, we are so good when it comes to controlling our heroes. But obviously they don't have the economy for it. Aura PH, they already are leading by so much. Even with enough sustain from Brent Esports, there's no way for them to win that turtle fight. Lord Hades, the gap between these two junglers is just way too high at this point.
Yeah, and knowing that the gap is present, Hades says, you know what, I want to build on this a little bit more. I want to survive a little bit more. Picks up the Brute Force Breastplate. Even more chances for him to get away or eat up damage. So it's just his momentum continues. But now let's see if Aura can keep the momentum going, as that's going to be the charge onto Lusty. He doesn't get tossed though. Carl Teasy dealing damage. JP almost tossing back Carl Teasy. Carl Teasy was able to sidestep it while charging up the bouncing attack. But now Kilowatt, surprise!
Oh my
god! The mega kill for Hades, thanks to the fire of Kilowatt. Great positioning and great sense to think that they're gonna go back here. I'm gonna wait.
I know that this is weird, because I'm gonna say that Aura PH is back on vintage form, because wait, it's weird because it's just like last year.
Yeah.
but in a way, this is vintage Aura PH. I will explain a little bit, because Rebo might be taken down, and he will actually be taken down. That's a big mistake from Rebo. He will not ever win that matchup.
Yeah,
I'd say.
the power of order brilliance.
Yeah.
Just ignoring everything that Alice threw.
Yeah.
to the
But yeah,
ultimate.
Vintage RPH first is because they're bringing back their jungle invasion or the jungle choking that they are always so capable with. And the second is Kiruash on the thumbs. Man, that's so vintage, I'd say. And his positioning, that was so wonderful. Nobody can play like that, like Kiluash is doing. We know Kiluash is the farming type of EXP laner, but he knows when he needs to get revised. That positioning was just so good, wrapping around the members of Bren Esports. He knows that Call TZ will be going to that plane once again, and even with two heroes, Lusty and Few, they cannot survive Kiluash, who's already so well farmed at this point.
Vintage legendary moments are what we're seeing for the second game in our first series today. Day number 2 of the MPL. Aura PH. Can't believe all of this just snowballed from the fact that Aura rotated at the start really smart. And now JP, smart pick off there onto Lusty. He's going to be forced to go back. He doesn't have the brilliance. That was the Rafaela getting taken out, so that's already going to be 2 members of Bren Esports down. Carl TZ gets taken out, but that could be another one up next. Will it? Yes, it is. Double kill there for Lord Hades, taking out the Sylvana, and Bren desperately trying to hold on to this tower in the bottom lane. But now it's a killing spree for Benny Cutie. Rebo is the last man standing, and Aura PH are hounding him. Gonna try to find the opening. They know that they can buy time, but
my
look
God.
at that! Godlike for the Lord of Hell. Hades 7-0-5.
This is his second game in an Aura PH jersey, I would say. Because Lord Hades, he kind of was benched from, in the MPL. I'm talking about MPL. This is not the first time that Lord Hades actually was deployed by Aura PH. In the offseason, they tried for it, and now everybody's just going to be wondering, is this the better lineup for Aura PH? Just because of that second game performance coming out from Lord Hades. Do take note that his Claude, it's a little bit, I would say, a lot of jitters in there for Aura PH. Having kind of a new squad. JP, this time, this is night and day for his joint. Game number 1, it's a combination of his lack of mastery with the hero and the fact that there's a Popo and Koopa in the other team. Now, it's a completely different story. JP is activated as a... It's just like Raflesia, right? Jungle invasion coming up from Aura PH. Man, if we were to cover the names of the teams, you would say that this is Sunsparks, not Aura PH.
Oh yeah, like hell of a throwback actually, even with the heroes that we're seeing, like Ranger with an insane stat line right now. Hunter Strike pick up by this Granger.
Now that I think about it, this is season 4 lineup. Like Joyd was really considered alongside Rock. Lunox was also a hero to watch out for back then.
Yeah, you're right.
And Granger was the top marksman back then in the championship round of Aura PH in season 4.
Bren Esports want to run it back this season, but Aura PH throwing it back and surprising the world champions. Endless battle. Picked up there by Kilowatt, who is crazy kill participation for this game. 3-1-11. He's only missed 1 kill, and that shows how well he has been rotating in this match. And I'm glad that you mentioned JP, night and day performance. And I feel like it's, the jitters or the hesitation and the defensive mindset of Aura is gone. They brought the fire and the aggression at the start, and it worked out really well for them.
Oh, absolutely. I would say most comfortable form. And we can see that they are so good at this, especially when Lord Hades is farmed.
Yeah, JP trying to look for a pickoff again. It's a 9K, make that 10K, sorry, gold lead for Bren Esports, for Aura PH, excuse me. Lord marching at the bottom lane, Aura PH are managing this whole map. 3-wave push, the minion at the top, the Lord at the bottom. Bren Esports could get taken out here. See if they can hold on. That's going to be a stun onto Flapteezy. Flapteezy caught a little bit too far from under the tower. He's going to try to heal up. Bren Esports trying to defend and trying to hold on, but they barely have the firepower to do anything. Flapteezy going in though with the Falling Star Moon just so that they can help defeat down the Lord. They finally do, but because of this massive gap in gold, Bren can just stand by and watch as Aura get closer and closer to a victory, but that's gonna be picked off there. Sylvana getting tossed back by JP. It's 5 versus 4.
Oh my God!
And the damage! Oh, no, liar. Despite how game 1 ended, they recovered it. And that's a 1-1. The series is tied now. Aura PH, great win.
Oh my God! I think you can see this is Coach Dale, the analyst, beside of Aura PH, and of course the management going in favor of Benny Cutie. That was a Ruby DD play.
Oh,
That was a Ruby DD play.
That felt like a Ruby DD play, and that winning moment is brought to you by Head and Shoulders. Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward hashtag It's a GG moments. Thanks to Head and Shoulders, 100% dandruff free and itch free. Now mas mabango pa. And as you were saying, Ruby DD plays that we were seeing.
Well, it was coined by so many of the I would say many pro players because they were amazed from Ruby DD, a player from Burmese schools, when they went for the Lunox, the flicker first and the ultimate, just amassing so much damage in split seconds. That's why nobody can react to that, and I think the timing was even more perfect, because what he did was really surprise Bren Esports just to because they were already out of position in a way that they were so clumped up together, and there was so much damage potential that can come out. By the way, JP, night and day once again. That toss was so immaculate.
Yeah, Jungle God, we know him, but he can play a pretty mean support as well. Great game there by Aura. Let's see what Midnight thinks about.
Sabi ng Aura PH, Bren Esports, ganito gumamit ng Granger. Game number 2 goes to Aura PH, and they force out game number 3. Welcome back to the analyst desk. My name is Midnight, and Aura PH deciding to go for a Granger. The last 2 picks against Bren Esports really does show us na napakalalim ng understanding nila with the draft and how the game should be played, especially against Brody. Now, these following post-game stats are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. And I'm pretty sure na interesting yung mga stats na makikita natin dito on our game, specifically the Granger. Now, Lord Hades going for a Raptor Blade, a Hunter Strike, actually brute force muna, Hunter Strike, and trying to build up a Blade of Despair pero hindi na umabot kasi inuna niya yung Athena Shield just to make sure na enough yung sustain ng Aura kasi hindi naman sila nagkukulang sa damage. Now, why does this Granger pick is really important against Bren Esports? If you look at the lineup of Bren Esports, no, halos lahat ng heroes nila ay greedy with the exception of the Sylvana and the Rafaela. They have a Brody, they have an Alice, and they have an Esmeralda. Itong tatlong heroes na to, kailangan nila ng farm. And Aura PH realized that when they saw the draft na, okay, kailangan nila ng farm, so we need to pick aggressive heroes. Actually, ang ganda na ng starter nila eh. They had the Jawhead, they had the Tams, and they had the Valier. They only need to react to the draft of Bren Esports. After they saw the Alice, sabi nila, okay, let's go for a Lunox pick para meron tayong gold laner for Benny QT. And kunin natin yung Granger, one of the fastest marksman out there. No? Actually, hindi nga nagpo-follow up yan parang sa marksman criteria. Medyo assassin marksman pa nga si Granger, which actually Hades specializes in. Gusto niya yung mga heroes na nag-assassinate ng kalaban. And that is what happened with Bren Esports. Every single objective na sinubukan nila i-take, like for example, yung first minute, yung unang jungle buff, purple buff ni Brody, they contested it. And that was Aura PH, just realizing what the game is looking like. Pero I'd like to lay out the conditions here, no? Aura PH, sila din naman yung early game talaga dito. Sila yung lamang sa early game. Makikita nyo naman dito sa ating highlights na yung early game momentum ng Aura PH ay nasa kanila. It's because they have aggressive heroes. These game highlights na makikita natin is brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Now let's proceed watching the highlights. Makikita nyo dito kung paano pumosisyon ang Aura PH. Every single time na mag-o-objective sila, they put 4 heroes at the very least to contest the objectives of Bren Esports. Why is it the case? Kasi again, pag tinignan nyo yung heroes ng Bren Esports, hindi talaga sila nakakalaban. And this means Aura PH, sila yung may timing. Every single objective na iti-take nila, they need to make sure that they have all heroes ready in the map. Ito actually napakagandang huli from Kilowash. Surprising lusty on the purple buff of Bren Esports. Ito napakagandang outplay from Benny QT as well on the Lunox. Rebo thought na okay, i-hold ko si Benny QT at aabot si Pew para sa Imperial Justice. But given enough farm, the Lunox can easily take down the Alice. And after that, it was all Aura PH dictating the momentum. Even against the Brody, no, isa sa mga pinaka nakakatakot na junglers out there Again, alam nila na medyo mabagal kasi yung lineup ng Bren. If you look at the gold lead right now, it is amounting to at least 6,000 gold in favor of Aura PH. And napakaganda nga nung juggle actually ng Aura PH doon, no, sa may tower ng Bren Esports. And after that, it was just an easy decision for Aura PH. Okay guys, magpa-format on the last portion of the game, and it was just an easy, dominant performance from Aura PH. Actually, master performance, no? Mastery of display ang pinakita nila dito. And the MVP of the game, again, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. Pinakitaan tayo ng isang malupit na Granger pick from Aura PH, Lord Hades. KDA of 706, net worth of 10,415, damage dealt of 36,823, and objective damage of 21,589. Kill participation, of course, 72%. That will always be the case for Granger. No? Mataas lagi ang kill participation. Objective damage, mataas din. He's one of the best marksmen to push in the early game alongside Bruno. And of course, the damage dealt dahil nga napakalaki na snowball ng Aura PH. No? Even though 36,000 lang, mababa sa sabihin ng ibang tao. Pero remember, that game ended under 15 minutes. I think even 13 minutes. So that's why Aura PH really did just dominate against Bren Esports. What a classic performance from them. And this started from the draft, no, when they realized the mistakes of Bren Esports. Now, we are in game number 3. Last game of this series. The question is, sino ba talaga ang tunay na mga best dito, no? Casters, sino sa tingin nyo ang magwawagi sa ating last game?
Well, with the nature of Mobile Legends, usually whoever wins the game is the team that breaks the base first. I believe that is what we're going to be seeing. Reptar and Wolf still calling the action here. Once again, the NBL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MP. On our hand, they still spam the recalls, but I feel like, again, back to how the story is framed. Urgency is what we need now from Bren Esports if they want to finally get a series win. The FPL.
I love it because even when they were so dominant in the first game, you gotta have to admit that game wasn't really a clear win for Bren Esports just because of that last fiasco that happened around the base turret of the side of Aura PH. Then again, you will still give them the win because they were so dominant already. But you kind of have to feel, is there something wrong with Bren Esports? Is it actually the championship buff or debuff at this point? Because everybody was just looking at them. I always say that returning champions are at a disadvantage in a way because everybody just knows how they are because they are not only playing more games, but they are also exposed. And they're quite tired. We'll find out though if Bren Esports, if they're urgent enough.
Easton and Benedetta getting banned out. Let's see if these are the smart choices in the draft. Catch it next, brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart. Free games for all. The respect. On to Kilowatt, taking out his town, of course, Matilda as well. Or PH, the question is, are they going to be opening up or banning out the Selena? A lot of approaches here.
I don't think it's good that you give out the Selena, but if they will trade the Selena for the Jawhead, I think that's a worthy pick for Aura PH. Bren Esports, they did ban out the Thams. You mentioned about this not being the MVP performance, but you can really say that Thams was so instrumental with the victory of Aura PH. The fact that they are so flexible with the draft that they are also very confident when Ash is playing it. And there you go, Aura PH banning out the Selena. Bren Esports, I think that they might consider taking out the Jawhead first, or the Benedetta, or the Paquito this time, obviously, since it is already available.
Yeah, and with Paquito getting picked up, a flex pick as well, Lusty, has that as an option for him, or it can go to Flap TZ. So now Aura PH could pick up best options for them right now. Vanna, Joe, Esmeralda, the Uranus is also there.
Yeah,
One of those.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe they'll take up the Brody, who knows?
Yeah. I think it's Jawhead still for Aura PH since it's still available. It is open.
Yeah.
And there's also something inside me tells me that it might be Alice for Aura PH.
Jawhead Alice?
Yeah.
Or a Sylvana
Alice? Yeah.
Whoa! Whoa, I heard it! They instantly go for it! Wow! The confidence of Aura saying, you know what, it worked Let's run that
Oh
back.
my god.
They pick up the Granger along with the Jawhead for their first 2 picks.
Yeah. I think they're kind of... Wow, this is... again, RPH, they are not shy to do this. I think one thing that I noticed about Arcadia, Coach Arcadia, is that he's not afraid of counter picks. If he thinks that they will be confident as a team with a hero, they will pick it up. By the way, Brand Sports, if RPH are bringing out their big guns, man, Brand Sports, they're not afraid at all. Lancelot gonna be picked up. This is both teams just relying on their best heroes and their best players.
Yeah, Lancelot, ladies and gentlemen, the only hero that got a Savage in the World Championships. Not only in M2, but in M1 as well. Only Carl Tizzy with this Lancelot got that. And I like this Popol and Koopa pick up again. We might, this time, stop JP from playing aggressive as he did in game number 2. It might be like a bad PTSD flashback for JP. It's like, oh man, I'm up against a Popol
Not
and Koopa
again.
not again.
They need another hero that can... hero for greed that might help him just check the bushes. Something like Eve or even the Rafaela or something along the lines of Estes.
Your
We'll see
team
the
is
Kagura.
banning.
Let's see.
It's a standard pick. I think it still makes sense against 2 of the heroes of Brand Sports. It's great versus the Paquito. And the Kagura is just so good against the Lancelot if the Lancelot is going to be caught off guard. But this is a totally different story. This is the Carl TZ Lancelot. And this is stuff of legend. So, the Kagura, while it is a good pick overall for RPH, they should not be just depending on this one when it comes to dishing out early game damage. I think they might need... I will not be surprised actually if RPH picks something like a Kaja at this point.
Coach
Is
Arcadia,
banning.
the mad mind of those two. Uranus getting banned out here by Brent Esports. They don't want to go up against someone who can just soak up the damage that their Lancelot can deal out or just annoy the Lancelot constantly. Just healing up, getting the shields back. Good ban there for Brent Esports.
That's
Now,
right.
how do you think this draft, the second phase, is going to go for these 2 teams? To start with Aura PH, how would you round out the first 3 picks that they show?
I love it because this is all about comfort for Aura PH, like I said previously. But at the same time, it also allows them to pick comfortable heroes
Your
for
team
both
is banning.
Kilowash as well as Benecutie. I will not be surprised if this is an Alice pick from Aura PH. Brand Sports, on the other hand, are going to give Rebo a hero that can also farm, or maybe just focus on Kaltizi. So you will have to look for enabling heroes from Brand Sports. Like, for example, something along the lines of Lunox for a few.
picking.
Oh,
There's the Alice ban because it is scary. The combination is just way too good.
yeah, it's sort of like a substitute for what the Uranus could have done to them, except with more damage and more stuns. So, what if Brent Esports surprises us here and decides to take the Angela route? Although the Lunox is available for them, and that's a hero that Rebo can play well.
That's also
in
true.
the gold lane.
Yeah. I think that they can consider that. They might also go for something like along the lines of Chang'e, so that there's a lot of reach against this Granger. Eve is also a hero that Brand Sports can consider. So somewhere along the lines of Farsa, Eve, and Chang'e.
Yeah, the artillery zoning,
Yes.
what the usual Farsa and Popol Koopa can bring out, can also be brought by an Eve and a Popol and Koopa, a little bit more control
Your team
around
is
the
picking.
objectives.
Ooh,
But now with the
Yuzong.
Yuzong getting picked up here, this might make Brent think twice about going down that route.
Yeah. Although it really is not the best hero nowadays. Well, the thing is, Yuzong is nerfed so hard in the previous patch, and there's so many heroes that can really outplay this Yuzong. You know what? Brand Sports, they can even opt to go for side lane Claude, or something like a 1-1, or a Harith for Rebo,
Oh, yeah,
and
they
then
need
get
that.
few wave clear hero like Eve, like your Farsa, like your Chang'e. But we did say that it is
Your
going to
team
be
is
the Lunox. So this might be... You know what? Hear me out. We might see a side lane Lunox and a tank Paquito. Though that is not the standard way to play it. I'm not I'm not really. I should be always considering that. For Aura PH, they need a Benny QT hero that skills. They don't have the Alice. They don't have the Lunox. They might be the ones to go for the 1-1 or the Claude route. Actually,
The Claude, though it looks really good here, there's just so many possibilities to disrupt him. The bite, the knockout punch could get interrupted
that's all.
a lot.
Yeah,
so
you're
the
right. You're
1-1
absolutely right.
is possibly the best option here
Yeah,
if they can go for the
or
double
a
match.
Harith.
Or a
actually.
Harith, yeah. Oh, but they, you know what? We're gonna pick up the Cho instead. Give that to Kilowatt.
So the I think
Oh,
the decision for both teams right now, Reptar, they will go with their cores, with their junglers. So it's going to be the Lancelot versus the Granger. Looking at the Bren Sports lineup, it is true. It is going to be the Paquito tank, Lapu-Lapu side lane, Few on the Popol and Koopa, and Rebo on the Lunox.
called it
Man,
to the T.
Wolf. Oh my God.
Nostradamus.
Well, knowing as how Aura PH just decided to go for the standard Cho pick Rebo, and don't go for the Lapu-Lapu Paquito side lanes wherein it's how do I say this? It's too standard and they kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of fulfill the same role. It will be too much. It's like a double down for Bren Sports. It doesn't look like it's a winning formula. They go for the Lunox instead, and all's good in the hood. Bren Sports versus Aura. This is gonna be a brawl, I would say.
Interesting mashup, interesting draft, and it's game number 3. Will Bren Sports finally win a series? Will the world champions and the defending season champions finally win a series, or will Aura PH get their momentum back and get a win? Now, a bit more conservative are these two teams, as Aura PH, now JP is just sticking to Lord Hades instead of aggressively going to the jungle side of Bren and checking out the Creed. They know, as you mentioned earlier, that it is all gonna center around Hades. If he goes down early, it could be bad news.
Oh, look at this. It's not a game wherein we see a lot of jungle chokings. I want to say that Kilowash versus Flap TC, Lapu-Lapu versus the Yuzhong. I will favor the Yuzhong. Oh, sorry, the Lapu-Lapu. But Kilowash, he knows this hero so well that even when he's in a losing matchup, he's gonna take some wins outside of the map. So, for example, get some jungle minions or help his teammate. But JP
Gets the pick off on the few. First blood already going to Lord Hades. Carl Teasy is not going to be able to do much there. And Aura PH, the urgency and the aggression, now we're seeing it after finally clearing enough to hit level 4. Immediately go into that middle shrub. And now Bren Esports, see if they'll be able to contest this turtle well enough.
or PH obviously on the
Front PH, JP's nearby. Let's see if he'll be able to disrupt. But with how Aura's positioned, they're going to give this one.
love it. Bren Sports, they offset their disadvantage when it comes to the turtle control by just damaging the heroes and the members of Aura PH. They know that without Kilowash, which is level 4, which is the ultimate, without the HPs that are available, Aura PH will not be comfortable taking the turtle fight. And after them poking the members of Aura PH, they just went in to get that turtle. Such a classic Bren Sports move, and they have won so many macro battles with that.
And now Aura PH applying pressure on the top side. Reap, of course, needs a little bit more time. Farm up, get the items on that Lunox. Meanwhile, JP, finally, since he was able to help Hades build up to 4 and get that sweet pick off at the start, now he's positioning aggressively. He's going to spot out Carl TZ if he decides to check that forward side buff, but he won't be able to. Turtle spawns.
We can see a lot of potential from this Paquito.
Yu, though, sees the potential of him possibly going down, but Popol and Koopa saving him to fight with the damage.
Did you see how masterful Few was with that? So if you were asking if it is the Oh My Venus route in the previous game, in the game number 1, this might be closer, as Few is the mid laner for Bren Sports.
And Greed taking so much damage! Thorned Rose right at the edge, taking out Greed.
Carl TZ and Few combining together just to outplay Kagura. That's Greed just chasing and punching the air at that point. as Few and Carl TZ, they were able to outmaneuver Greed, putting him in a spot wherein he will be trapped, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and Carl TZ though trapped himself into getting taken out there. Gets completely bursted down by the members of Aura. PH, Lusty could be up next. Lusty was nearby earlier, but then Carl TZ just got absolutely bursted.
Oh my god.
Carl can't afford to make plays like that against the lineup that Aura's fielding.
It's like their brain power is quite limited at this point, where at that specific moment wherein they went in for a big brain face in the middle and then just straight up just dumped everything and just went in for the play that is primal in a way.
The result showed, and they were able to get what they wanted out of that. Kilowash able to get away there, but Bren somehow, even after losing Carl TZ, Aura couldn't position themselves or find a good position around the turtle. And this could be the turtle going to the side. It is going to the side of Bren Esports.
Oh. 2 turtles now belonging to Bren Esports. I could have sworn Aura PH, they had chance to get that control of the turtle, the second turtle, but it didn't happen. As Bren Esports, what they're always trying to do, and you have to mind this if you're watching them, when they're poking, they wanted to get the turtle. Because what they're doing is just to let the opponents just blow their resources, their skills, and their HPs, so that they can take the turtles more effectively.
Yeah, Rebo gets kicked away, so he's not going to be able to deal as much damage as he wants to, or at least his delayed greed goes in with the umbrella open, and with the ultimate, the knockup is there from the Cho, and Kilowatt, or I mean Benny Cutie, let's see if that's enough to turn it around, but Carl TZ was still able to secure a kill there. He was the only one to go down, but now here comes Kilowatt, a double kill for the Black Dragon of Aura PH. Now Flap TZ and Carl TZ, they will not be able to continue this play. Benny Cutie's nearby. Let's see if we can go for a pick off. Oh, kicks Flap TZ back. It is elementary what he did just now, but now Carl TZ might be able to. Yes, he will secure the kill there onto JP, and he dashes away. Oh, he eats up a lot of flame shot. Third hit there as well from the ultimate, but Carl gets away. It's a nice exchange of just how well these two teams know their own heroes, but another one. Let's see, can Carl get it? Of course he can. Benny goes out.
You called it a nice exchange. I call it excellent exchange, man. That was so good for both teams. Playing one another. Kilowash was able to just show us how it's done. And Benny Cutie tried to go for the good plays. Bren Esports returns the favor or tried to get a kill. Additionally, that Joy, the ejector was good, but even better was the knockups and the positioning for Carl TZ. Then Kilowash chimes in, making it look like the user is not even nerfed. So only Kilowash can make that work. And then Benny Cutie makes the play, then Carl TZ makes the play. Man, this is a brawl. Blow by blow.
Another brawl in the bottom lane. Mega kill now for Kilowash on that Yuzhong. By the way, that replay that you saw was brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999. And Carl TZ demands our attention as he got a mega kill. Now he could get another one. Great read by Carl TZ. But he gets taken out a little bit too greedy. JP says, don't reach, young blood, I'm gonna toss you back. Carl TZ gets taken out. What could have been another added highlight to the legacy of Carl TZ's Lancelot was stopped by JP.
God, just blow by blow. Everybody's just trying to outplay each other. That's what you want.
Yeah, they're just showing off now.
They're showing off. This is showtime. Bren Esports, I know that they are feeling so confident with Carl TZ, most specifically. And he saw that Benny Cutie was there. There's just enough HP from Benny Cutie to survive that, using the Jeet Kune Do and the Shunpo with all of those extra shields, like those small shields, it added up so that he was able to survive. And then the JP Joy was quick to punish. Another turtle fight as, oh my god, another alley-oop into the, Lord Hades Granger.
Yeah, this could be really bad. It's a fight for the turtle. Bren already lost up top, and they're gonna lose this one as well. Beautifully handled here by Aura PH across the map. Rebo is here though, but it's a little bit too late. Already getting pushed to the top side. A kill onto Kilowatt there by Rebo. But you can say, without a doubt, Aura won that exchange. They could get another one. The damage coming up from the Granger. You could be up next. The damage, is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. KO there for Lord Hades on that Granger.
Divide and conquer for Aura PH. Look at what
Yes.
they did. 2 into the top 8 to get a kill into a very important hero for Bren Sports, which was Flap TZ. Imagine if Bren Sports had Flap TZ in the turtle fight. A totally different story. And Bren Sports also made a mistake. Having this Carl TZ Lancelot with an all-in strategy into the turtle fight, Aura PH, they had 3 members. Remember, no matter what happens, that's a Yu Zhong. And with the Black Dragon form dealing enough damage and control against the Lancelot, Bren Sports really stumbled around that turtle fight. They might have taken down the mega kill onto Kilowash, but in exchange for Carl TZ the Lancelot, 100% sure Aura PH is happier with that trade over the number one.
Not again. Carl TZ gets caught off again. Now Flap TZ taking a lot of damage. Look at that. There's another flame shot. Unstoppable. Lord Hades is already 5-0 and 7.
And
Bencuti split pushing the top side here. He might get stunned and get caught off here, but that's not going to be enough damage from these two. He gets away. Bren Esports are crumbling before our eyes. Kilowash again. Not sure if he's going to be the MVP, but another MVP noteworthy performance is what he's bringing out here earlier in the times. Now the Yu Zhong, look at the damage coming out from Greed Skagura, brings Few down from 100 to 40%.
Yeah.
That quick.
My god, Aura PH, they're looking scary. Both teams, Reptar, they needed this series win. They were struggling, both of them. Bren Esports even struggling more after losing back-to-back. The last time that they won a series was January. And then to World Championship, they might have taken the trophy. But now, for the 3rd time in a row, they are on the verge of losing another series against MPL teams.
Wow. They are on the board though. They have a point from a game, but they don't have a series win. And I'm going to repeat what you brought up there. They haven't won a series since January. That's the last time we've seen Bren Esports win a series, and that was, of course, for the World Championship. But now, Aura PH, it looks like they will ride away with this with how they're handling the map. But,
Man,
oh man, Bren Esports, they don't even scale that well into the
I
late
agree.
game.
They were all in onto their jungler. I would say for both teams, this is a battle of who wins the early game. And it was a tug of war for the first 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Then eventually Aura PH were able to take over because of how well they were able to divide Bren Esports. Both of the drafts of both teams depended on them winning the early game. And unfortunately, the tug of war, it was Aura PH who was able to win it. They might be the ones to take Bren Esports once again.
Oh, Carl TZ getting forced back already. Forced to get away after a flame shot and 2 hits from the Death Sonata. And Aura PH are going to be marching into the base of Bren Esports with the confidence in the world. They're going to be fighting out in the mid lane to try to secure that turret. Yes, they do. All inhibitors are broken beside of Bren Esports. The Lord broken by Bren Esports, but Aura PH with this lead, this 10k gold lead, could make God tag, and they will lose this series. Triple kill for Benny Cutie, and Aura PH wins it 2-1 against the defending world champs and league champs.
Talk about recovery, Reptar. Game number 1 was a totally different story. You can even forget about that. For Aura PH, what they did was to mend all of their mistakes from game number 1 and apply a better execution come game number 2 and 3. The draft was so much better as well, and they were more comfortable in the last 2 games of the match.
Yeah, and Aura PH happy right now in this winning moment that you were seeing is brought to you by Master. Hindi sila na GG. Instead, they brought their clay game with Master, Sikreto na mga guwapo, and that was a handsome game by Aura PH. You mentioned the tug of war up until the 6th or 7th minute, which Aura was able to ride out of it. It was kind of rocky because Bren Esports were like trying to grasp back, like, oh, you're not going to get away with this. But eventually, they did. What else can you say about that match, Will?
Granger is a hero that we might be looking towards Aura PH, and I'm just glad that they are activating Lord Hades in the MPL Season 7.
And another deathless game, if I'm not mistaken, for Granger. But Midnight will lay down the analysis for that match. Aura winning it against Bren 2-1.
Ito na ba ang new meta? Granger wins games, Aura PH takes game number 3 against Bren Esports. Once again, welcome back to the Analyst Desk. My name is Midnight, and Aura PH just dominated that series once again against Bren Esports. Pag-uusapan natin yung mga naging conditions in this game, but of course, we have to look at the stats first, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Now, let's look at the stats of these two teams here in our game. Again, makikita natin napakaganda ng build-up ni Granger dito, no, or si Lord Hades. After the Raptor Blade, he went for the Brute Force, went for the Hunter Strike, and then Thunderbelt. Now, why is Thunderbelt really important in this game? Thunderbelt acts like a defensive endless battle, no? Yung proc na makukuha mo kay endless battle, nakukuha mo rin naman yan kay Thunderbelt. It provides defensive capabilities as well. So wala lang yung additional attack damage, but you have more HP and you have the slow effect against the heroes of Bren Esports. If you look at the heroes of Bren, lahat sila kailangan lumapit sa kailangan lumapit sa Aura. So nalilimit yung potential ng Bren Esports against the heroes of Aura PH. And it's really hard to take down this Granger from the side of Aura PH. Dagdag pa natin dyan yung problema nila na baka mahuli sila ng Cho, baka ma-setapan sila ng teamfight ng Kagura, baka dumating yung dragon natin on the form of Kilowash, no? Ang daming factors na kailangan pang intindihin ng Bren. So sabi ni Lord Hades dito, hindi ko naman kailangan ng additional damage. Ang kailangan ko lang is dagdagan yung problema ng Bren Esports. And this has been the weakness of the lineup ng isang Lancelot comp, no? Kapag hindi kayo nakakahanap ng kills, you naturally fall off and scale off. And Aura PH just took the win against Bren Esports. And those stats are once again brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to gain great with Smart, free games for all. Now, of course, we have to look at the moments and the highlights in that game. Aura PH dominated Bren Esports in a manner na parang surgical, no? Surgical yung approach nila dito. Even though Bren Esports felt like they were getting something out in return, Aura PH was the one dominating. Now, these highlights are brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Again, nakikita natin na yung di lapu-lapu and Popol and Kupa. It's just that the power spike, yung sinasabi nating timing na lumalakas sa mga heroes ay mas maganda sa side ng Aura PH. Let's look at this fight, no? On our screen, nakikita natin na ang ganda ng engagement actually ng Aura PH. They found the perfect collision here on these two teams and nakakuha sila ng kill against kay Popol and Kupa. But after that, Bren Esports, they found an answer. Kilowash, of course, being the U-zone that he is always going to join team fights, no? He will play around his teammates, around objectives, and around the things that they want to take in. But, ginalawan sila ni Lancelot on this specific moment, no? Hindi nila na-expect na ganito pa rin yung galaw ng ating world MVP, no? On this Lancelot. Napatay niya si Johed and nakatakbo pa siya. Actually, napatay pa niya si Benecutie on the bush on the top lane. After that, Bren felt like, okay guys, kailangan na natin lumaban against Aura PH, no? Hindi na pwedeng hayaan natin na sila yung nagde-dictate ng momentum. But the thing is, Aura PH, they had the right mindset. All they need to do is just take objectives. Hindi naman nila kailangan talaga labanan ang Bren Esports kasi pwede naman silang kumuha ng mga towers lang. And the thing is, tinitrade lang nila itong turtle na to. Even though this was where Aura PH was, look at these two heroes on the map. Kakapush lang nila ng top lane. Sabi nila, hindi natin kailangan lumaban, guys. I-delay nyo lang ng i-delay yan. Actually, wala nang pakialam si Aura kung makuha man ni Bren Esports yung turtle. As long as they are taking objectives, they're taking away the resources on the side of Bren Esports. And as a Lancelot, you don't want to be put in that position kasi gusto mo ng farm and gusto mo ng kills. So you naturally play around objectives that your teammates want to take. So the answer from Aura PH is just split the map. And after that, after the Lord take, sabi ng Aura PH, okay guys, huwag din natin patagalin pa, baka ma-Lancelot pa tayo ni Cartesi. Let's just end it straight up. And napakaganda actually nitong last moment na to from Benecutie, netting a triple kill on the show before ending the game. And that was it. That was the game of, that was the highlight of the game. And now we have the MVP brought to you by MPL. Make your own limits. Rise above and be free to game great with free games for all. Yuzong on Kilowash with a KDA of 414, net worth of 7,993, damage dealt 27,201. Objective damage, di tayo masyado mag-expect, no? Kasi isa naman siyang Yuzong, kill participation of 47%. Now, why is he the MVP? Again, ito yung overall hero comp talaga ng Aura PH. Actually, ang ganda ng pagkakapick kay Yuzong dito on Kilowash. That's the reason why it was really hard for Bren Esports to fight into the objectives of Aura PH. And Kilowash did his job perfectly. Every single time na dapat siyang sumama, he was always there. Hindi siya nawala sa pwesto, and walang timing na Aura PH, pag sila nagdidictate ng aggression, hindi nagpapakita yung Yuzong. So that was it for the series. Aura PH taking down the world champions 2-1. I'm really excited for more matches today. So casters, let's get back for the next series.
At this point in the season, and with the performance of Bren Esports so far, I believe it's safe to say that Bren Esports are gods no more, as the fire of Aura reminded them of their mortality. They get their momentum back. The urgency is back for Aura PH, but now Bren Esports, I think now it's a state of emergency.
Yes. Of the season. Wow. And that is a lot. That is definitely an emergency for Bren Esports, and that's one thing that they needed to work on starting from now.
An emergency for Bren, but a lot of emerging scenes here in MPL Season 7 that is presented to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart. Free games for all. Blacklist versus LPE up next as we tie the bow in this series. Quick thoughts on what you feel about our next series.
Oh, I'm excited for Blacklist International, whatever they have for their bag of tricks, I would say. For LPE,
MPL Philippines Season 7 will be back for Blacklist versus LPE. See you.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life. Simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart, ako.